Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So this is an emergency video about Rocket Lab. Is it time to sell? What's going on? Why is the stock price falling? And how far is it going to go down? So if you're interested in these topics, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. And let's begin this video. So today, Rocket Lab has fallen more than 5%. The stock was already almost at an all-time low. It's quite unbelievable how low the stock has gotten. And basically, I think currently there's no one who, or very few people who have bought the stock that have that are not underwater. Unless you're an employee or, a very early shareholder that you've been holding Rocket Lab since they went de-SPAC, you're probably underwater. So the whole community right now, we're just bag holders. So why is this happening? So there is a lot of people, I saw a lot of tweets today, Alpha Cashflow, who I think is misunderstood. I think this guy, as far as I saw in the comments, he's a Rocket Lab bull, but he's asking a legitimate question. How low can Rocket Lab go? Think of a lot of bag holders believe it can't go below its all-time low. Well, you are wrong. Book value would be $1.13. Let's hear what the floor is. Is it zero? And then he tagged a lot of Rocket Lab creators. So I'm sure a lot of you are thinking this, so I will try to answer this in this video. So first, it's been a very tough day, I'm sure, for a lot of you. So let's start with humor first. Let's cheer us up. So I don't always buy the dip, but when I do, it keeps on dipping. I'm sure that this is how a lot of Rocket Lab shareholders feel. This next one is even better. This is Rocket Lab. I bought the dip, the actual dip, the dip of the dip. This is definitely how I feel. Okay, so done with the humor part. Now I just want to show you some very, very valuable quotes, and then I want to go into the actual stock and what's happening with the stock. So let me just make my head a little bit smaller. So Charlie Munger, waiting helps you as an investor, and a lot of people just can't stand to wait. If you didn't get the deferred gratification gene, you've got to work very hard to overcome that. So all of us would like that, we buy a stock on a dip and then, the next week it, goes to like 100%, 200%. And, we become rockstar investors. And unfortunately, this is almost never how it happens. Usually a company starts dipping, for whatever reason, and then you buy, and then it keeps on dipping, and then you buy, and then it keeps on dipping, and then you buy, and then you hold, and nothing is happening. And then, for example, I'm a very early Palantir investor. I started buying at $12, it dipped down to $8, and then it dipped down to $6, and I was looking like an idiot while I was adding. And I think it was almost a year that it was trading at $6. And then within the span of like 3-4 months, it went from $8 to like $20. And suddenly I looked like a genius. So it was, like 1 year waiting, the stock doing nothing or dipping and dipping more and going down. And then 3-4 months when it undid everything. And this is going to be especially true for Rocket Lab because the stock is so damn volatile. When we start mooning, I think it will go very, very fast. So really just keep this in mind that all of us wants it to happen, that we buy the stock and then it starts mooning. But the right attitude is that you need to have an amount. So if you think that Rocket Lab is going to 10x or 100x and you have a dream, like I want to make $1 million on stocks, and you think Rocket Lab is going to 10x, then you know that your position needs to be $100,000, and then you need to put 100,000 into Rocket Lab, or you can make it a share count that you need to reach 20,000 shares. That's about $100,000 at the current price, and then you know that until you have the 100 or the 20,000 shares, you keep buying because that's when you will reach your investing goals. So don't mind the numbers. The numbers were just, examples. You need to make your own numbers. You need to make your own due diligence. I'm not saying Rocket Lab is going to 10x from here, but I'm also not saying it's not going to do that. So, so the next quote, the stock market is a device to transfer the money from the impatient to the patient. So again, this is the same as we discussed before. One of the most famous investors, Ron Barron, he invested in Tesla in 2013 with hundreds of millions of dollars. And the stock did not do anything in 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2019. Then at the end of 2019, it started moving. And then in 2020, his position 20x'd and he became a legendary investor. And I think he is very well deserving this title because let's be honest, how many of us would have waited 6 years for Tesla to start appreciating? And he was right, because the point is, you never know how the stock is going to react, right? Like Tesla could have also just gone up 20% every year or, 30, 40% every year. You can never guarantee what the stock price is going to be. You can only guarantee what the stock price is today. So all the people who were not buying because, Tesla will go lower, they probably never ended up buying and they just watched as the stock 20x. I know for sure this happened to Palantir investors. A lot of people were not buying at 6, they were not buying at 7, and then the stock started rallying to, 10 and then 12, and they said, okay, now I'm sure this is a good company, it's going to dip, Next stop was 20. And then the dip went to 16, at which point the same people said, I'm going to soon buy. I just want it to dip a bit more. And now we're at 20. A few months ago, we were at 27. So patience, patience, patience. One last amazing quote. A market downturn doesn't bother us. It is an opportunity to increase our ownership of great companies with great management at good prices. So I think that this quote from Warren Buffett is very, very, very fitting for Rocket Lab. As I always say on this channel, so the hard part about investing is that you need to be right about two things. Most people think that you just need to be right about the company. But the point is, you can be right about the company. You can say that this company is an insane value, but if the market doesn't see it, your stock is going to be still in the gutters many, many years from now. So again, this was the case with Palantir. I bought it as an AI play and nobody gave a rat's butt about AI when I bought Palantir. So I was right about the company, but it took 1 year more and ChatGPT, which I didn't know was going to come, to completely change the market sentiment around the stock. And then now you could argue that maybe the stock is a little bit overvalued. But the only thing that really changed is I was right about the company all along. It's the same company all along, same thesis all along. It's the market sentiment that has changed. And I believe that it's the same problem that we are running into with Rocket Lab, that we are right about the company is doing amazing, and there is something wrong with the market sentiment. I don't know what that is. It's probably a combination of many things. It's probably that, the interest rates are too high. Too many people have lost money on space stocks. Neutron is not ready yet. Yada, yada, yada. So there is a problem with the market sentiment. I will give you that. But the company, the one that we own, remember that we own the company. We don't own a stock price. The company is doing insanely well. How well are they doing? So you can buy the stock at the same price as it was when we were in June 2022. So that's almost 2 full years ago. And since then, what are the things that have happened? So we became a space prime. We have gotten a 500 million SDA contract. The backlog of the company has grown to over $1 billion. The execution is more proven. Electron is way more proven. We just had the highest ever Electron launch quarters. We have just most probably had, I just want to show you the financials that were projected for this quarter. between 92 to 98 million. The last quarter, we were at 60 million. So that's almost a 50% or more than a 50% increase quarter over quarter. And it's also a super nice number year over year. We had some mishaps last year with some electrons blowing up. So, but it's insane. It's the best quarter by far. The company has just done a capital raise, which secures them very much into the future. So the risk of bankruptcy has been very low with this company, but it's now even way lower. Neutron is closer to launch. I mean, we can see Neutron developing right in front of our eyes. The pad is being built out. I mean, I just cannot tell you how much better this company is than it was 2 years ago. This is my model of Rocket Lab. This is the one that you can get if you join the channel membership or you join the Patreon. Like a few people have done it. It's really amazing, helps support the channel. And then you can play around with your own numbers in this. This is my assumptions. And during this whole time, I've owned Rocket Lab for 6 months. I didn't change any of the numbers. And if I did change them, it was for the upside. So meaning that the numbers have gotten better than I thought that they would get. And I believe that these numbers that are here, they are quite conservative assumptions. Again, if you join Patreon or the YouTube membership, you can see here how many launches. The 7.5 million is an Electron, and you can see that I'm counting with 22 launches in 2024. And then you can see in 2025, I'm thinking with 2 Neutron launches, 25 Electron launches, and then, you know, it's very transparent how I'm thinking. And I'm not thinking with any space application, which I think would easily double or triple or quadruple the price of Rocket Lab once it gets announced. The thing is, it's impossible to count with it because we don't have data. But, you know, SpaceX was a $30 billion company until they announced Starlink. Starlink added $100 billion to their valuation because it's insanely profitable. It's a business with super high moat, super scalable. I don't need to explain it. Rocket Lab is going to go and do the same exact thing. I mean, they will not copy Starlink. It will be some other service, but it's going to be super high moat, super scalable, and a super good business. So I'm not even calculating with this. So this is a valuation in 2030, only space systems and launch. I'm thinking with that they will have 2 billion in revenues. I am thinking that they will have a 15% operating margin, which would be a 300 million operating plus. If you put a 40 multiple on that, which is a very conservative if you look at the growth that they were having here. And again, not thinking with the space applications, I get a $19.56 share price. And I'm thinking with dilution. Here you can see the number of shares outstanding. I'm thinking with a 3% dilution. And if I want to have 20% per year compounded all the way to 2030, then the stock is a deal for me below 546. We are currently at 3.9. That implies a 25.9% compound annual return up to 2030. Again, with discounting half the business. And that to me is a no-brainer. So I understand the feelings that a lot of you get when the stock falls and it doesn't go your way. But the problem is that if you don't act, again, I'm just sharing my thoughts and my research, so this is not financial advice, but if I don't act when I see such opportunities, I'm not made to be an investor. And yes, it sucks when it doesn't go your way. Nobody can predict what the stock is going to do. And honestly, there's a non-zero chance that this stock might go to zero. So you have to be honest. If we bet on companies, not every company is going to work out. And if Rocket Lab is not going to work out, it's going to be for some very unforeseen thing that we just didn't see coming. I highly doubt that that's not going to happen. I'm currently a shareholder of 65,000 Rocket Lab shares. I'm very happy with the company's execution. I'm not worried at all. I made moves today to make sure I have a little bit of, I have margin because of whatever, long story, but I don't fully own the 65,000 Rocket Lab shares. So I made moves today to make sure I have enough margin in case the stock drops more, because I in no way want to lose any of my Rocket Lab stock. And if you were thinking about buying Rocket Lab, like you're somebody who just wanted to see this video because you're on the edge, you're on the fence about this company, make sure that you do your due diligence. I really recommend that you watch our Rocket Lab weeklies, which is on every Saturday. If you look at technicals, the company's all-time low, there is a very big support line. The all-time low is 355. There is a major support line that has been tested once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times now at around 370. So I think if you're buying now, that's the risk that you're taking, that it might go from 387 down to 370. I highly, highly doubt that we would go to new all-time lows. That would just be freaking weird. It can happen, but it would be very, very weird. So I think that the point where we are today is a very, very risk, or if you're going to make a bet on this stock, it's the most risk-free that you can do it. Obviously, if you make the bet, it's not risk-free, but we are at an insanely good point to enter. If you're thinking about adding to your position, the same goes to you. And that's the video for today. Please let me know if it helped you or not. I feel that as a content creator, when we are needed the most and when we provide the most value to the audience is when the stock is not going the right way. And that's also the toughest time to make videos. And, you know, a lot of creators, unfortunately, they stay very quiet when the stock doesn't go their way. And then when the stock goes up, then they're like, see, I was right. And to be honest, I feel quite useless when the stock goes the right way. And, you know, when the thesis is so proven that even the dumb Wall Street people can see your thesis, like Palantir a little bit feel like this because the story is so obvious at this point that I don't feel people need help explaining, you know, that AI is going to be the future and Palantir is a great company. But Rocket Lab is different. I've ridden this donkey before. It's been a tough ride with Palantir, and this is also going to turn out good. I just don't know when. Maybe it's going to be 1 year, 2 years more of this. I'm ready to take that, but it's going to be very nice. So let me know in the comments, what are you doing? And thank you for watching this far. Please make sure you're subscribed and see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.